why would a kind and loving creator only send their child to a single population? And this population is currently being oppressed by an empire, the Roman Empire. And so in a few hundred years, their message, which is one of freedom and love, and living as though you are free, and loving as though you are free, even under oppression, that message will be twisted and turned into something that is a tool of genocide, oppression, land grabbing, colonization, slavery, everything. Why would a loving creator and God have Jesus show up there and not in the Western Hemisphere? And why would it take so long to get to the Western Hemisphere? And also, why would this creator not just have Jesus show up in a world that isn't so corrupt and horrible in the first place, that it'll take Jesus' message and turn it into something horrible and corrupt, when in the first place that message was resisting this horror and this corruption and this degradation of the sacredness of life? And so as I thought about that, I realized, well, who needed Jesus' message? Jesus said that he came to help the sick, right? So was he going to go to places that didn't have empires oppressing them? No, places that are the most sick places were at that time in the parts of the world that Jesus was at, under a variety of different empires, right? In that case, it was the Roman Empire. The creator made it so that wherever there is the Roman Empire, or a proxy of the Roman Empire, a descendant of the Roman Empire, like the US, wherever there is that, Jesus' story will be preached. And it may be preached horribly wrong, but it will still be said. And for those who pay attention to what he actually did, it will be instructions for resistance. If they're really paying attention to Jesus and not just to the people talking about Jesus. Jesus gave people free food. Jesus healed people for free. Jesus treated people with such dignity that even demons were dignified with questions like, what's your name? If you believe that you live beyond death, and if you believe that nothing can take away your home in the spiritual reality and nothing can destroy your value to your creator, then nothing can change the way you act. Nothing will make you pay for slavery. Nothing will make you go and spit on someone and steal their clothes. You believe even if your family is torn apart, no matter what happens, there is nothing that the empire can do that will ruin your family's future in heaven. And this doesn't mean you don't fight for your family. This doesn't mean... Here you go, I have a couple bucks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one. For those who actually pay attention to Jesus' actions, you'll see that they align more with indigenous knowledge and ways of life than they align with the colonizer and with the oppressor. And so the indigenous person who sees Jesus' message and sees Jesus' actions, not the people who claim to follow Jesus, but Jesus' actions themselves, the indigenous person will then feel comfort and courage that they are human and their ways of life are valuable, and that Jesus and his God is just an extension of their own. The oppressor's message of Jesus is just death, and it is death. It changes everything into this horrific experience of being demeaned and told you're not worth anything unless you follow a certain code or whatever. Jesus' life was saying that you're worth something to me, even if all you're doing is laying on the ground, begging for scraps and unable to move. You're worth it, and you're beautiful, and I love you, and I'm willing to have a conversation with you and be in your life and invite you into my community, even if that's all you're able to do in your life right now. You're worth it to me. Jesus' perspective of humanity was just so different from the colonizer, who says you're worth nothing unless you're productive and you make the money. And that's it. And so maybe that's why the creator allowed Jesus to be born just in that space, even though his message would be tainted and his life would be tainted. Because then everywhere the Roman Empire goes, Jesus' life will be preached, and people will have a chance not to feel oppressed and demeaned and dehumanized and have their way of life erased because of him, but actually feel like they have a right to life and dignity because of him, and they're willing to resist and see themselves as human even when no one else does.